I'm gonna make them an offer they can't refuse. That was horrible. What's up, YouTube? Kenny here, also known as SilentFan85. Welcome to a serious mode. I wanted to go ahead and touch on politics because obviously we're coming up on election day, and there's going to be a lot of politics flying everywhere. We've got people blocking people on Facebook. We've got people getting into arguments. I got into one last week that I walked away from. And I won't get into the specifics, but here's the thing about politics. Politics and religion have been the driving force behind wars for eons. Ever since man knew that he could stand up on a podium or a high box and give an opinion or give what should be done, and people followed him or her. And it boils the blood for most people. Some people, they're so passive about it, they just vote and get it over with. But I think this election is one for the record books, obviously, because there is a lot that I'll just put it bluntly. There's a lot of sewage flowing that shouldn't be flowing, but yet it still is. So there's that. But when you look at the broad spectrum of politics throughout humanity and its history, it's always been around, and it always will be around. It's just a part of who we are nowadays. But here's the thing. While it does dredge up this sewage that is on TV, that is on Facebook posts, that is on Twitter feeds, all kinds of stuff, that is in the media altogether, and that is being molded to present an image of candidates in a certain way, it can also be used for good. There's a lot of good that can be done with politics. There's a lot of agreements that can be agreed to. There's a lot of wars that can be settled with politics. Personally, I'm of the mind, if you want war done right, put the leaders in like they used to. Don't, nowadays we got guys and gals in suits sending people off to war. But back in the old days, there were people, leaders, that got on a battlefield with soldiers to fight for a cause. You don't really have that a whole lot nowadays. And to me, there's too many wars going on. Again, caused by politics, or money, or whatnot. It's just our reality, And to try to be blind to that, you're going to be blind to real life. But again, with all that said, there can be good to come out of it. There can be peace talks. There can be decency to flow from politics. But I think the thing to remember overall with politics, with what you're going to see in the news about candidates, and you've seen it used in a negative and in a good way, but vote your heart, vote your conscience. Don't vote because everybody else is telling you to. Do some research. For me, the person that I'm voting for, I'm not going to go into details because I don't want people coming after me, but the person I'm voting for, I've looked at their history, and they have a solid history when it comes to fighting for what they believe in. For those that know who I'm talking about, you'll know who I'm talking about. So, there's that. But look, do some research into the person. Look at their past. Don't look at what the media has molded for them. Google their names. Go to different websites. Not just Google. Go to Yahoo. Go to Bing. I hate to say that, but search around before you throw in your vote. Don't just go with the masses on this one, because history has proven that people in general can be easily influenced to go one way or another. But a person can be logical, and that's what you need. You got to be logical. But again, vote with your conscience, your heart, and your brain. I think that's what's most important of all. And again, don't let people burn you at the stake for who you're going to vote for. It's who you're going to vote for. It's your vote. But take it seriously. Don't just throw it away. That would be my advice. And with politics, there's, again, it's kind of it's a stigma, really, because even at work or even on certain YouTube feeds, such as Phoenix Feather and myself, no talking about politics, because again, it brings out a fire, a passion in people, or hatred, depending, um, that can overwhelm people so much. It gets people talking about crazy stuff, and so much heated discussion can be brought up into it, and it can really cause rifts in friendships and family and just all kinds of stuff. It's insane, the power of politics, and when you get discussing it. Now, is any of that passion or the hate from time to time that arises due to the media? Probably. I mean, some channels are a bit biased, but that's freedom of the press, and that's what makes America great. Now, with that said, most of these channels are privately owned. The few channels that are owned by, that are helped by the government, or that are owned by, for example, PBS, which used to be, for the most part, done by public donations, nowadays has become a little bit more private, so it's become a bit more biased. If a channel is privately owned, it's going to be a little bit biased, because the owner or the people running the company want to influence where your vote goes. Because let's face it, there is money, a lot of money to be had in politics. You put some money into the right person, they pay it back. It's just unfortunately how the system is. Personally, I want to change that. I would love to change that, and I hope my vote counts for something towards doing that. And again, with that said, I really wanted to get into who I'm voting for, but I will just say I'm not voting for any of the front runners. I'll just say that. But with that said, again, vote with your conscience, vote with your heart, vote with your brain, and don't just go with the crowd. Do some research, and know that you're making a smart move, and that you're not just throwing away a vote. Personally, let me take that back. I don't really believe any votes are thrown away. I think your vote is your opinion, and you're putting your opinion out there in this pool, kind of hoping that it counts for something, that it might go towards something greater. Because it really is towards something greater. We're electing a person that will lead us into the future. It's not just another 4 years. It's not just, let's just go ahead and get them in and get it over with. Or let's go ahead and get this person in and just get it over with. That way we can move on to the next pair of candidates. That's not the best way to think about it, and that's not the best way to approach it, because this is a person that is going to be running things in the country that affects our daily lives. They talked about trickle-down economics a lot in the last few years. Well, replace economics with practices. It's trickle-down practices. And whoever ends up in the Oval Office affects our everyday lives and can affect the future of the world. So, with that said, again, do what you're going to do, but remember to think with your brain, and not your fists or your fire or your passion. It's hard to stay logical in politics, but sometimes you got to do it. And I had to itch my nose. That was kind of awkward. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Remember, you're awesome. Never let the world tell you otherwise. And remember to vote. And if you do, if you don't, it's your choice. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna force you. Go vote. It's your choice if you feel you don't want to vote. Looking at the candidates that are running, I wouldn't blame you. But personally, I feel a responsibility to vote. Even if my person doesn't win. So I at least know I gave it a shot. So there's that. But anyway, remember, you're awesome again. Never let the world tell you otherwise. And for now, I'll say salute. See ya.